Hello, this is Dean Fox, President of Caleda Financial Management, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today for our presentation on long-term care protection strategies. Long-term care can be an expensive drain on family resources. People might be surprised by the number of Americans who may need long-term care if current trends remain in place. It makes sound financial sense to develop a strategy to protect yourself and your family should the need for long-term care arise. Our firm is dedicated to helping individuals evaluate their financial situations. We want to provide people with tools that can help them make informed decisions, and we offer informational material on a wide range of topics because we understand that individuals have diverse financial needs. If you have any questions or concerns during the course of our presentation, we invite you to take advantage of our complimentary consultation. During the consultation, we can discuss your questions and begin the process of helping you develop an approach that will address your individual needs. Keep in mind that the information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice. It may not be used for the purpose of avoiding any federal tax penalties. Please consult a professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Many members of the baby boom generation are now reaching retirement age. In fact, approximately 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day, a trend which is expected to continue until the year 2030. That works out to be about one person every 11 seconds. How fast is that? In 2020, there will be 3.5 working age Americans for every individual in retirement age. By 2060, there will be only 2.5 working age Americans for every individual in retirement age. The current median age of the US population is expected to grow from 38 today to 43 by 2060. The aging of America brings certain challenges with it. For example, it means that more and more people are expected to reach an age where they are more likely to need some type of assistance. The US Department of Health and Human Services reports that at least 70% of people are expected to need long-term care services at some point in their lives. While it's difficult to predict what type of care any one person might need or how long he or she will need it, statistics reveal that the average person needing long-term care will need it for about 3 years. Women are averaging longer at 3.7 years in comparison to men at 2.2 years. And 20% of us will need care for more than 5 years. Since so many people over the age of 65 are expected to eventually need some level of long-term care, it makes sense to have a better understanding about long-term care and how it works, and to consider what you can do to financially prepare. To do that, we need to examine 3 main areas. First, what is long-term care? Second, how much does it cost? And third, what are your options? What is long-term care? Long-term care includes skilled nursing care, such as the rehabilitative care needed after an extended hospital stay. But that's just one of the many types of long-term care available. Long-term care also includes assisted living facilities. These are environments for individuals who can no longer function independently, but don't need daily care. These facilities offer occasional help with what are referred to as the activities of daily living. These include the following: bathing, dressing, eating, transferring, which is getting in and out of bed, or a wheelchair, and walking. It also can include home health care, that is occasional help with the activities of daily living we just listed. as well as help with meals, budgeting, paying bills, house cleaning, medication management, and even transportation in some cases. In this case, however, the help is offered by hired assistants who come to your home on a regular basis. Long-term care even includes respite care, which is an occasional break for family members who provide long-term care services. Next question, how much does it cost? The cost varies state by state and region by region. And this is why we wanted to discuss this with you today. It can be a very, very, very costly expense. The national average for assisted living centers, single occupancy, is about $48,000 a year. The average cost of skilled care facility, again, under single occupancy, in a nursing home is much higher at over $100,000 a year. The price can range widely from there. Some areas, Utah and Missouri, for example, are somewhat lower than the national average for long-term care costs. Others, like New York and California, are quite a bit higher. What are your options for long-term care? There are many, however, your primary choice is between two options: self-insuring or purchasing a long-term care insurance policy. Let's go through each. Self-insure involves depending on personal savings and investments to fund any long-term care needs. This would give you complete flexibility, but require that you be prepared for the potential expense. Remember, the national average for assisted living centers is $48,000 a year, and the average cost of skilled care is $100,375 a year. In fact, self-insure is a choice many make by default, simply because they haven't planned for long-term care expenses at all. But as you will see, self-insuring has consequences. Self-insuring may have an impact on your overall retirement strategy. This chart shows a $1 million retirement portfolio generating a hypothetical 5% rate of return. It assumes a 65-year-old couple will be withdrawing $50,000 per year, adjusted upward by 3% each year to account for inflationary costs. If all goes as planned, their retirement portfolio has the potential to provide income until the couple reaches 92. If, however, one spouse spends the first 5 years of his or her retirement in a nursing home, the portfolio's income potential changes. The hypothetical example assumes the couple will spend $117,000 a year, adjusted upward 3% each year for inflation during the 5 years while the spouse requires long-term care. As you can see, if they make no changes, their funds will be exhausted by the time they reach 83 years old. One question that naturally arises is, what about Medicare? Medicare offers only a partial solution to the long-term care problem. Medicare actually does cover some skilled nursing home care under very tight restrictions. You have to have stayed in a hospital for 3 days first and be discharged directly to a skilled nursing facility. However, Medicare does not pay for custodial care. Under these conditions, Medicare will cover the first 20 days completely. For the next 80 days, it will cover all but a deductible. And after 100 days, it doesn't cover anything. This assumes, of course, that you find a skilled nursing facility that accepts Medicare and you meet the other conditions Medicare imposes. Your other option is to transfer the financial risk of long-term care to an insurance company through purchasing long-term care insurance. A long-term care policy can cover all levels of care, from skilled care to custodial care to in-home assistance. Gives you a lot of flexibility. Many find it to be an appropriate way to protect themselves and their loved ones from the potential devastating cost associated with a long-term care event. There are a number of pros and cons of a long-term care policy. On the pro side of the ledger, a long-term care insurance policy can protect your assets. could potentially not need to dip into your retirement funds to cover the cost of care. And under certain conditions, your premium may be partially or completely tax deductible. Long-term care insurance offers other advantages. In the event of a long-term illness, it will enable you to preserve your dignity. You can maintain your standard of living and, for as long as possible, your independence. You can preserve your choice, and you can keep from becoming a burden to your family. On the con side, you need to be sure you are comfortable with the cost of the premiums. It wouldn't make much sense to pay premiums for a number of years, only to let the policy lapse because the premiums push your budget too far. And that's why it's so important to have a conversation with your financial planner to make sure that you can build this into your specific financial plan. Long-term care insurance also can be fairly complex. Policies offer a wide range of benefits for which they charge a wide range of premiums. It's critical to take a look and a close look before committing to a policy or to work with a professional who understands what to look for. When choosing a long-term care policy, what do you need to keep in mind? First, make sure you understand the limitations and features of the policy you're considering. In most cases, policyholders cannot collect benefits until their disability reaches certain levels. And most policies specify how much they will be paying for each day of care and for how long. Second, take a close look at the type of care covered. Long-term care policies can cover everything from skilled care in a nursing home to periodic custodial care in your home. You need to understand exactly what is covered and what is not. Third, look at the total benefit. You don't want a policy that will run out of benefit just when you need it most. And you don't want to pay for coverage you're unlikely to need. Look at the waiting period before benefits are scheduled to begin. This is also referred to as the elimination period. You want a policy that is also renewable. Consider inflation protection. The cost of healthcare has been rising more rapidly than the general rate of inflation. That said, it won't help to have a policy that falls behind rising healthcare costs. And finally, consider a policy with waiver of premium. This means your premiums are discounted or in some cases completely waived once you start drawing your benefits. Long-term care insurance can be structured to protect your family and your loved ones. And that's where our firm comes in. We specialize in helping people just like you put together a strategy that helps you meet your needs as well as those of your family. If you think it may be time to take a closer look, schedule a review today. I want to thank you for joining us today and make it a great one.